Okay, so this is interesting. Back to our water heating element. Okay. If we check our solar isolation, we've got 15.5 BTUs per square foot per hour. Just can't even tell where this is as bad as it gets right here. So if we take 15, call it 16 out of a possible 400, we're at 0.04. We're at a half of 1% of the possible maximum. Multiply that times 320 watts for a panel. That's about 12.8 watts per panel. We will cross-check that. By going and checking. I've already done this, but I want to show you. We were at 112 the last time I looked. Okay, so we're at, oh, I'm going to lose it. 109, 110, I don't know if the camera's catching that. That's the voltage, the operating voltage right now. God, I hope that got in there. Okay. So that's our operating voltage. That's what the MPPT controller has it pulled down to. Now we're going to check amps. 0.36. I did this before. It's all about the same. That's for a set of 3. So if we go back to our calculator, okay, based on solar isolation, we should be averaging 12.8 watts per panel. We got 110 volts times 0.36, but that's for 3 panels, so divide by 3. 13.2 is what it measures. It calculates to 12.8. So you see the point. The solar isolation meter and my measurements agree. All right. Now what we're going to do is go over, and I've got this heating element hooked up to the panel. The same heating element is in parts 1 and 3. Okay, and this is where it gets interesting. I'm going to set my DC voltmeter to a lower scale. That should tell you something right now. Okay. Two and a half volts at 0.3 amps. Okay. 2.5 volts at 0.3. So 2.5 times 0.3. That's 3/4. Oh, you know what? I might have been standing. Hold on. Let me do it again. I might have been standing in front of the panel to make sure. Yeah, it's the same. 0.3 and 2.5 volts. Okay. 2.5. Those panels are running at 112, but there's 3 in series. So if you take 112 and divide it by 3, the panels are operating at 37.3, or darn near their maximum power point. Or it is at their maximum power point. based on this solar isolation. And just like the gentleman suggested, when you get away from that, when you get way down the scale, okay, I'm going to do another test where we've got, say, I did it the other day in 66% good sun. I'm going to do one at 40% good sun. But he's right. When you get way down the scale like we are right now with really bad sun, that heating element just sucks that voltage right down to nothing. And volts times watts, or volts times amps, is watts. So we're effectively getting nothing out of that panel because it's directly connected. But we need a little bit more information than that, because we're almost getting nothing out of the other panels right now too. I mean, if you tried to heat water with all them panels, you wouldn't do anything right now in the sun. So in a way, that's kind of moot. What we need to know is what that will do when we've got 30% sunlight, when we've got 50%. We know what it does at 68, and I can pretty much assume it's going to do just as well at 100. I mean, I can verify that if we need to. We know it's going to do just as well at 100% as it will at 68, because there's just more voltage, there's just more current in the, so that's a given. What we don't know is what that panel will do at 50% and at 30%, but we do know it doesn't do anything at 4%, or well, no, at 0.5%, where we get terrible sun. So anyway, that's it. The experiment will continue.